Hello, everyone. Welcome to VOCARIUM, Static Silence. I will be your curator, or game master Arc, or Arclight Court. I am also the writer, creator of VOCARIUM. Joining me tonight are three vocalists, the three
OMG,
first-time
OMG,
players
OMG.
of this system. Javante.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binary finies, and hellions of all walks of life. My name is Javante. Pronouns are he, him, and I'll be playing Kane. Do you want me to say what Kane is?
Oh no, it's right underneath your face on this stream.
Cool. Pronouns are also he, him.
Pi.
Hello, everyone. I am Pi or Pi Guy, he, him, they, them, Pi/guy, whatever you want to call me. And I am playing James Morrow, a lovely little fella, I think.
And last but certainly not least, Shadow.
Hello everyone, my name is Shadow or Shadow Dao, your guide to the digital darkness, and tonight I will be playing Void. Any all pronouns for Void, he, him pronouns for myself.
Oh, yes. And tonight, before we start, I want to give you all a better understanding of what exactly VOCARIUM is. VOCARIUM is a modern occult role-playing game where language itself is magic, and every word you speak reshapes the world, or reshapes you in return. Set in a world that looks like ours but is quietly rewritten by the Codex, a living network of meaning beneath all communication. Players take on the roles of vocalists, people who can hear the hidden grammar of reality and speak lexes, fragments of the primordial language that built existence. In VOCARIUM, you don't cast spells, you negotiate with reality, using intention, emotion, and poetic phrasing to define what you want the world to become. Every utterance carries a cost. Breath is your willpower and the strength behind your voice. Echo is the distortion left behind when the world pushes back, bending sound, memory, and identity until you're not sure whether you're changing the world or it's changing you. Failures create haunting anomalies, reflections that move on their own, looping sentences, memory bleed, while successes resonate like cinematic declarations of will made manifest. There are no hit points, no spell list, no rigid turns, only meaning, risk, and the consequence of what you choose to say. The setting blends urban occultism with cybernetic mysticism, graffiti that whispers, dreams that are in sync, screens that call you by name, and factions vying for control of a language that can rewrite society. Whether uncovering echo ghosts trapped between sentences, navigating resonant zones where reality behaves like corrupted code, or confronting your own forgotten truths, every story in VOCARIUM is shaped as much by emotion and philosophy as by action. It is a game about identity, expression, and what it costs to be heard in a world that listens too closely. In the end, VOCARIUM is a narrative-driven RPG for players who want their creativity to matter, their failures to mean something, and their characters to grapple with power that is equal parts beautiful and dangerous. Your words are your magic. Your voice is your weapon. And the world is waiting to hear what you have to say. Tonight's expedition. Static Silence. Before we get into the stinger for that, for all of the wonderful people who are here in chat, !words gives you a donation link. Your donations have the capability to affect tonight's game as if you yourself are a part of it. You can give a player breath back. You can take or give breath back to me. You can cause an echo event to occur in tonight's episode. Or you can choose one word to speak into the reality of tonight's game. And as we get ready to start, the three of you, all vocalists, members of a unique collection of intelligent individuals, life forms, entities in this world who can speak the utterances of the Codex, who know the lexes of reality. And in the various ways you choose to use them, have used them previously, or have thought to use them before. Each of you tonight find yourself receiving a message. It is signed Keen 14 through the Codex Network, a almost internet communication, a sub-level of the internet, not quite the dark web, but somewhere where vocalists can communicate with one another on how and where reality is changing. The message left says, "Speak for me," in all capital letters. Kane, you want to describe your character, your vocalist, and their reaction to seeing this message on the Codex Net.
Kane is a wiry individual, almost built, almost cobbled together, it seems, from unreality made manifest. He is too thin and too tall in areas, and too thick around and too slight in others. Long, wispy, blonde, dirty blonde hair, a lot of it covering most of his face, a perpetually stained lab jacket with a semi-professional collared top, and to add to the dichotomy of his person, ripped baggy jeans on the bottom. Adding to this is a series of tattoos along the side of his cheeks that mirror decibel symbols. As soon as he sees this message, he's probably been staring at his computer for seemingly days. As soon as this message pops up, he seems to come to life, just slamming fists on, like hands onto the table, peering at it closer to see if it's not a hallucination. And just this wide, almost rictus smile appears on his face. Finally. Oh, there's finally something. Okay. Who am I? Who do I... and, like, send a message over to some other member. Just, like, what do I do?
As you send another message through the Codex Net, you see that Codex 14, the corporation that essentially runs like the server banks and all of the hardware that maintains this sub-level of the internet for vocalists, responds to your almost like frantic typing before your message is even finished being written. And it says, Dr. Keene is experiencing an echo collapse. You are being tasked with joining other vocalists to either stop the collapse or ensure that whatever reverberation does not impact the surrounding city.
Who am I being sent with?
You will meet them there. And then a line of coordinates, longitude, latitude, is sent next.
Just barely gets enough time to register what that says, grabbing what I have as like just something quick to throw on and heading out.
Looking at the coordinates, and what is your instinct score?
Instinct is a 3.
Okay. So with an instinct of 3, you get 3 pieces of information before leaving your own home. The first is Dr. Keene, though working alongside Codex 14, using the Codex Net as a means of communication and like a place to store theory and hypothesis. She never wanted Codex 14 to have any access to any of her own work. So wherever this location is, where this collapse may be happening, is where she kept most of her greater hypothesis or greater theories about the Codex and about the lexes and utterances. The second, the coordinates that were given to you are somewhere in Michigan. It's definitely metropolitan, but states away from your guys' lab that you have been working out of over the course of the last 2-3 years. And the third, she would never sign off as being a part of Codex 14 in a message unless it was absolutely dire. And you think that this message may have been sent before whatever this collapse is. As you grab your things, throw on a larger jacket, and head out the door of your home. As the door opens, the vast darkness behind it folds over itself. Void. I want to describe your character for everyone. And what is their reaction to the message on the Codex Net?
Void is... People don't know what Void looks like underneath the mask or the equipment he wears anymore. He doesn't even know. When he looks at himself in the mirror, he just sees snow. Digital interference. And that's all that anybody ever remembers of him when he's not in his gear. He has come close multiple times to having a collapse of his own, only to be brought back from the brink. And as such, big swaths of his life have been rewritten and erased to the point where very few things are left of him. His original self. People only know him as Void. In the way that Void would access the net is not through a physical machine, but almost as if he's watching the code run in front of him and watches the code come across the screen. And he feels something calling to him with that message. Something beyond just the initial words. Something that he himself has felt.
There is a...
And
Go ahead. There is a sense of... not of self, but the value of Dr. Keene. The name itself is something that you are able to connect some kind of living relation to, as the last bit of information from your most recent bouts with a collapse. It was Dr. Keene who ensured that the collapse did not happen.
With that, Void feels almost a... I don't want to say obligation, but like a feeling of a debt to be repaid to Dr. Kane.
There's a string of text that begins to form letter by letter. There's a large portion in the beginning that you can see is being typed out, but they're like, the letters are almost broken or folding in on themselves or layered on top of each other in strange connections, until then you see Void. Your specialty in collapses is required.
Once more unto collapse. And Void's just gonna leave.
Just leaves.
Yeah, he sees that message and he just instinctually knows, like, he needs to go. He figures he'll be able to pick up data on the way as he's going.
You gather your things, begin to move forward, and what is your instinct score?
That would be 4.
4. Dr. Marakeen would much rather burn her own doctorate and never speak again than align themselves with Codex 14. They think they have a fear that in allowing vocalists access and the capability to digitize lexes, that there is a grand possibility of someone attempting to instruct an AI on digitized lexes. So even the fact that she is using the Codex net to communicate or respond to anything means that it is much more grave than even quite possibly your last collapse. The second, you do see that there was another vocalist who was contacted by Codex 14 through that message of Dr. Keene. And it looked to be a student, a co-worker, someone with a professional connection to Dr. Keene, not just another vocalist. The third, you're able to pull from the interactions of Codex 14 with this other person, the coordinates leading into Michigan. And the last thing, the Codex net is, again, a subterranean level of the internet. It is most basically used for rapid communication along the frequencies and the lines of the World Wide Web. But there's an advertisement in there for a mesmerist in Las Vegas that someone thinks they might also be a vocalist. And as you prepare yourself, and again, we get to this doorway that opens into an infinite darkness until we see the city lights of the city of sin. There are pinks, purples, reds, orange hues, strobes of lights and LEDs, old school bulbs just out on the outskirts. Mr. Morrow, where do we find you? And how does this message come across your eyes?
You find him on stage, mid-show. Perhaps near the end of the show, I should say. I would say a dapper-looking man, but he's in Vegas.
You can still be dapper in Vegas.
That's true. He is wearing a suit, although the buttons are undone. He has a white shirt underneath, which also has the buttons undone to show a little bit of his chest. Suit pants, nice shoes, slicked back black hair, clean shaven, one of those microphones in his ears that go down to his mouth as he walks around on stage with an umbrella in his hand that has these beaded bracelets wrapped around, multiple beaded bracelets wrapped around the handle. And as he's concluding his show, he says to the crowd, "One final showing for you all. When I snap my fingers, your perception of me will be no more until my next show, so make sure I find you there. And then as he maybe feels a buzz in his phone of a message, snaps his fingers, heel turns, walks off stage.
You walk off stage, you could see a handful of the stage hands. One of your assistants is rushing over. They've got like a laptop that's completely open in front of them, where they are making sure that any and all changes that may have occurred tonight are in fact occurred. Okay, so there are your new passport, driver's license, social security number. You have 3 homes now in the Florida Keys and 1 in Cuba.
How's the book deal?
The book deal's completed, and they're like sliding through other documents that are on the laptop itself. You can see some of the stagehands are like taking some of the chairs that you had set up on the stage and are like moving them off to the side. You can hear a lot of people are now making their way out of the space itself as the phone in your pocket goes off again.
He'll take out his phone and just kind of, do it. Just one moment.
How did you have a phone on stage? As she's like, you're not supposed to do that.
You've seen me do many a things. Are you sure? Are you so positive that I didn't just hypnotize one of you to take it?
She pulls the 3 other phones of yours that are in her pocket out. She's like, you handed me all 3 of them before you went on stage. I know for a fact you handed them to me because they're right here. And then puts them back into like the inner breast pocket of the suit that she's wearing.
He will point to another stagehand and he'll say, well, my shows are for everyone, like I say. You should have made sure he was clean. And will point to another
stagehand. He's got the full, like, EQ headphones on because he was positioned next to one of the speakers for the entire performance, so he doesn't hear any of that at all. But as you check your phone, you see that same message. Speak for me. Signed, Keen 14.
Kind of just takes a moment to ponder it. And to make sure he himself has not somehow turned his own tricks on himself, and this is actually what he is seeing.
This 100% is what you are actually seeing. What is your instinct score?
A lovely little 2.
A 2?
Indeed.
So for that, you get 2 pieces of information. The first is Dr. Mara Keen, one of the highest world-renowned crypto-linguists, specialized in like dead languages and the translations of said dead languages in the world, is someone who emailed you about a month ago. And the email was vague enough that other people reading it might go, oh, they're interested in seeing if, testing if mesmerism or hypnotism is possible with dead languages that haven't been spoken in hundreds or thousands of years, as much as they are in English or any of the living languages of the modern day. You are not that gullible or that soft in the mind. We're able to read through that email of I know what you are doing. This is a place where you can communicate with others who can do what you are doing as well. The second bit of information or understanding in the current situation you found yourself in. Why would she reach out to you with just these 3 words? Even in the subtle conversations or exchange of information through the Codex net, why you? Speak for me.
There might be a slight bit of cockiness in the back of his head that makes him think it's because I'm the best. But it's only slightly there.
You've never had a reason to not believe that.
Very fair.
And as this feeling washes over you, this idea, this raising of the chin slightly, you could see your assistant holding the other 3 phones as all 3 of them are ringing simultaneously, as the phone in your hand also begins to ring.
I'll answer it.
James Morrow, this is a representative of Codex 14, an organization that deals with, monitors, and ensures the safety of vocalists worldwide. There's been an incident in which you have some level of connection, or at least the capability of helping to stop what could be a collapse. We request your immediate presence in Michigan. Find a door. We'll bring you here. Don't make us come and get you. And the phone line goes dead.
You'll kind of stand there for a moment, but then immediately kind of get into action. And being a showman in Vegas, the first thing he does is not go to a door. It's turn to his assistant and ask about his schedule.
Well, do you tell them that you plan on leaving? Or are you just turning on your heels going, is there anything else for me tonight? What's the week look like?
He's just turning on his heel, and what's the week look like? Is there anything else?
We have another show 2 days from now on the main stage down in Fremont, but it's like a 30-minute. The city's paying for you to do a 30-minute spot on the main stage down in Fremont. After that, you don't have anything else. At least for this week.
Push it back later into the night. Make some story about how... find some celebrity that wants to be hypnotized. Really build it up. Maybe get more ticket sales. I might be gone for a while.
Fremont, it's not ticket sales on Fremont. It's just a open street performance, essentially. But they are assembling a stage for you. The city's still paying you, but there won't be any ticket sales. As she raises her hands and does air quotes.
You know, ticket sales for the VIPs.
I'll see what I can string together. I think Chris Evans is here. And then she turns and immediately is like sending messages on 4 other phones back and forth.
And if she were to turn back around after, I think Chris Evans is here. If she were to turn back around, the only sound would be the clicking of the click clacking of the umbrella on the floor. And if she turns around, Morrow's already through a door in the backstage and is gone.
And as the door opens, infinite darkness until space, time, and reality folds on itself. And the three of you find yourself just outside the city limits of Detroit. Massive, almost 60, 70 feet tall, what look to be obsidian pillars are being dropped by helicopters around the city. You can see that there have been convoys of people being moved out of the city itself, passing through what look like military gates or structures that have been set up near the ends of bridges and city lines, where you can see a large influx of Codex 14 operatives are at work removing people from the city of Detroit. As the three of you find yourself standing no more than inches away from one another, you see several Codex 14 armed members approaching. This translucent, opaque, but you're still able to see almost like outlines of facial features underneath glassed and domed helmet. These very neo-futuristic soldiers of a time that isn't now, moving towards the three of you. Yes, Void?
Do their masks resemble anything that I would have on?
They look like their masks are one step behind yours.
Noted.
And as these military appearing personnel approach the three of you, the one in the front extends a hand. I am Captain Benicio.
Morrow will grab the hand, shake it, introduce himself, James Morrow, do a little flourish, and when the handshake is over, he has a flyer to his next show in his hand.
The hypnotist. And he folds the paper over in his hand and just passes it to one of the people behind him. Extends a hand over to Kane.
It's good to see you.
Unfortunately, it's good to see you as well. Does not offer a hand to Void. Just nods his head. Now, we have been able to scrub and keep all information about what's currently going on inside the city away from all other eyes of the world. We're going to continue to do so until such time comes that we are unaware of Detroit's existence anymore, or you contact us and let us know that the problem has been solved. The collapse is centralized. One of the high-rises that is within the city. It is silent past the city limits. No sound. Only certain words carry weight inside of the city limits. Dr. Keene, we are assuming, is at the top of that high rise. And that assumption comes from, and he takes a tablet-like device from one of the other soldiers behind him, turns it towards the three of you. And what you see is the top of one of these high rises is shattered out. But it is not broken. There are no missing pieces because all of the pieces are floating like stuck in a gravity well around the top of that skyrise. The glass, the metal beams, the concrete, carpet, computers, boxes. Strangely enough, that's not the important aspect. As the three of you also see words broken, floating amongst all of that as well. Like they're becoming physical. They are attempting to become matter in reality. That is the only place where there seems to be any sound. But even then, just at the apex of the high rise itself. I do not wish, and turns to Cain. I do not wish to lose a powerful and beautiful mind such as Dr. Keen's. I hope that there is a way you might be able to reason with her. And if not you, turns to James Morrow. We request that you alleviate any memories, triggers, trauma responses that may have kicked all of this off. And if in such case that the two of you are unable to accomplish those tasks, the helmeted eyes look towards Void. And again, no words, no gestures, just a nod. Are there any questions?
Any contact with anything dangerous?
Nothing observable. Everything that we've been able to evacuate have been safe, uninterred, other than the silence. But once outside the city limits, the silence is no more, and conversations continue.
Fascinating.
We have a means for all of you to communicate with each other and communicate with us as well. And he takes what look like 3 collars almost. These are bone microphones. They will detect the vibration of you attempting speech and convert it digitally through your skull for you to hear. As we think the silence is biological, it is affecting the eardrums themselves and not actual removal of communication. It was a reaction. It was a rapid response to whatever caused this echo. So this, at least from our observations, has worked to bypass that issue. And hands one to the three of you.
James will ask, kind of has the standing up straight. He has an aura of cockiness that is very powerful. It's there. Everyone can tell it's there. And he asks, so when do we go in? You brought the best. Let the best get to work. And you would all see him. He's been just twirling the umbrella this entire time as he's standing here. But now that the attention is brought to him, everyone would see as the umbrella twirls. It has the, hypnotist black and white spiral painted on the outside of the umbrella.
Above table, fucking beautiful. Back into the game. If you all are ready now, the sooner we know whether this city continues to exist or if she is safe, the faster we can undo the protocols that we've put in place to keep the rest of the world from seeing what's happening.
He kind of hooks the umbrella under his arm, holds his arms out to the other two, and goes, "Well, folks."
Right.
Let us commence.
Cracks knuckles and will start to head forward.
Is there any other information or things you would like before we step into the next scene?
Void is going to go over to the gentleman that's been speaking to us.
Captain Benicio?
Yes. Captain, why exactly has it been stopping at the city limits?
Because we got here fast enough. And in saying that, you watch as one of these massive obelisks get released from one of the helicopters. And as it falls, there's no sound as it falls until it hits the ground. And you can see air being pushed towards the city. Nothing in that direction. But you hear the thud, almost half-hearted, on this side as it carries forward. We're slowly moving the pylons in.
Understood. If it is something biological, do you think it's weird that some of the sound is still being impacted on the outside of the circle?
The sound is being separated. On one line, there is no reverberation. There is no waves to travel on. And on this side is only the remnants of the sound that didn't get to. People confirmed that dogs were barking. Their mouths were moving, but they could not hear them. So the attempt at forcing or communicating still exists. but the level of silence that is there. I think someone was asked to shut up and listen.
There's a reason we don't tell other vocalists to shut up.
Agreed. And after saying agreed, you see his mouth move. Like it is saying something else afterwards. But like a poorly dubbed movie. Whatever is said afterwards, the only thing you hear is void.
This is more dire than I thought. Can you just see Void turn on his heels and start walking into the direction of the city?
Kane, James, anything else?
Kane will find one of the soldiers that he can see that's possibly a little newer and see if he can requisition not a weapon, just ammo.
Ammunition? They look around, even though they are clearly wearing a vest with magazine pockets on them, to find you someone else's. Until eventually they just grab 2 magazines out of their chest, put them together, and hand them over to you.
He'll open up a pocket on his jacket, and I'm going to just pour the bullets into that pocket, and then hand the empty magazines back.
Okay. And puts them in upside down so that he knows that those are empty. Do you inspect the ammunition before you put it, or as you're putting it into your pocket?
It's probably like a quick inspection just to see, like, okay, what rounds am I putting in here?
You are looking at 300 Blackout, a subsonic ammunition that travels at speeds just under the speed of sound, but like by the barest amount of speed. It's considered subsonic ammunition.
Is this the ammunition that's really good underwater?
Yes. It is also an ammunition that, if you have experience with firearms, you can actively follow the bullet after it leaves the barrel, because it is moving slower than the speed of sound, but carries much more force than a bullet moving at the speed of sound. You are aware that this is an ammunition type, or subsonic ammunition is the chosen type by Codex 14. Mercenaries is putting it too light because this is an active paramilitary organization. Because they can cut off words before they reach your ears. You now have a pocket full of subsonic ammunition.
Fantastic.
The entire time, James has been handing out flyers to his next show.
There are people getting off of the multi-person carriers that are like, "Oh my god, that's the dude who's at Vegas. Why is he here?"
Because it's hilarious, I like to imagine as Kane's getting the ammunition before, Morrow's making his rounds, he sees the magazines be handed to Kane. He quickly saunters up right behind Kane, and before the soldier gets to put the magazines back in his vest, flyers.
So there's flyers behind the magazines that are now placed back in the... Okay. Got
Like
it.
right over Kane's shoulders, just 2 flyers into the vest slots.
Got it. All right.
Mhm.
And with that, the three of you now enter into the static silence. As said, deafeningly quiet does not properly describe the feeling of being in this space. Even if any of you had a sense of or level of tinnitus, that ringing does not exist in this space. The colors of signs, tapestries, even the streetlights themselves seem pulled away. These drab, saddened grays and blues are almost overtaking the coloration of this city. Barbershop signs with the rotating red and white, satin grays and blues. Street lights, reds and greens, flashing, denoting a level of civil emergency, grays and blues. It is deathly quiet. Did all of you put on the...
Yes.
Okay. So you are able to communicate with one another even in this silence.
I think Morrow will test it out. Gives it a little tap with his finger and starts to attempt to speak.
You tap it with your finger. Your skull feels like it is being vibrated at the same pressure of you tapping on it. Simultaneously, so too does Kane's and Void's at you tapping at it.
You're a stage magician, right?
A little bit more than that, but that is what I get by today as.
So does your tech never tell you not to tap the microphone?
That's a good one.
I didn't know I was being funny.
Allow me to elaborate. Do not do that again.
Just seeing how things work is all, and seeing how this job request works. Kind of point his umbrella towards Kane. You're first. I'm second. They're third. I probably should have asked the guards back there, but I figured it'd be best to ask the two of you instead. What do you propose we do if none of us work?
I have contingency plans.
Gestures to Void.
What is everyone's resilience score?
That's not threatening at all.
It's just a
4.
question.
Also 4.
Void is a 3. Void. A resonant pulse breathes through the city. For the two of you, the other two of you, you can see the lines of sound that are fighting against the silence of this city. Like fabric folding over itself, elastic stretched too far where you can see the frayed rubber within fighting to pull back on itself. Void. A soundless explosion carries through your midsection, rippling in your ribs or whatever is contained within this vessel you operate now. And you see as the signs on the street start to twist, the letters pulling against each other. I just want you to listen. Along every sign, Void, you see that written. And for James and Kane, the resonant layer is responding. Where these words come from. But you aren't feeling an echo.
This is fascinating. Like Shakespeare's.
Word forward.
Do you say anything to them about what you see, Void?
Not directly, but he is going to say, I think there's more to this than what we've been told.
That's not surprising.
Well, when you're in my line of work, there usually always is.
Men, someone broke through. Someone is rushing towards your location. A vocalist, assuredly. All three of you here.
I'm going to reach into the pocket and pull out one of the bullets and just hold it in my palm.
Do we know which direction they're coming from?
It is absolutely quiet in this city, unless you would like to turn around and observe, or some other way of locating them. You would not hear footsteps. You would not hear heavy breathing. You would not hear a car. You wouldn't hear a motorcycle, a bicycle, a scooter bell. None of that.
I have something. Morrow is going to unfurl the umbrella and kind of put it on his shoulders, begins twirling it around, probably says to the others, you might not want to stare directly into it. Or do. And remind me how using Lex's work again? What may I do here?
Here we go. First use of the Lexes. Now, are you using one of your known Lexes, or are you...
I am.
You are using one of your own. Which one are you using?
I am using one of my own. I am going to speak the word perceive.
And what...
Perceive my surroundings. And perchance the location of this other vocalist.
So with the information you have, you are going to speak perceive in the attempt and in the guise of becoming aware of the location or actively locating who this other vocalist is.
Yes.
Okay. So, the first thing You will wager 1 breath for the word perceive.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can wager up to 6 more breath at how badly or how much you want this to succeed. And I will either wager or I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Against that.
Okay.
And you only reveal to me once I let you know whether once I am ready, then you tell me how much you are bidding. Regardless of outcome, that breath is spent.
Mm-hmm. Don't mind me as I just try to read the numbers on the D20 to decrease them. Or not.
Spin down would have been perfect for this, because then you could just roll it over each step.
Yeah. But I just found the number, damn it. Guys, I don't know how a D20 works. I play D&D for a living. I don't know how a D20 works. Yeah.
All right. No other changes?
I have done what I have done. So whenever you want to know.
The world has wagered 2.
Okay. Well, this is interesting, because so have I.
You've also wagered 2.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
Now, real quick, I do want to ask. 2 as in the first initial breath and then another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, so I have it correct, yes.
So, describe for me how reality bends to your will and you become aware or perceive this intruding vocalist.
Okay. I'd like to... His anchor, his umbrella. He's been spinning it this entire time after unfurling it. He speaks, perceive, and reality shifts itself as he keeps spinning it, but instead points the umbrella in front of him. And on the underside of the umbrella is the image.
You see a man running frantically. Black clothing entirely. There's like, you know when you have a brand new black shirt, an older black long sleeve, and an even older pair of black sweatpants, and they're all different shades of black? It's like that. There are these multiple shades of black to the clothing that this person is wearing. But the important thing, the thing that you take away from this, not only in now you know and can see exactly where they are, they have bits of paper stitched onto this clothing that looks old, tattered. On it are written lexes. You receive one echo, as not only now do you perceive this person, until one of you die, you both will forever perceive each other. They are running at a high speed, much faster than you think they should be able to physically run.
Mm-hmm.
And you are aware of Alex on the jeans that they're wearing that has another stitched piece of paper on it, that Alex is glowing off of that page that must be allowing them to move at the speed that they're moving at currently. Void. Kane. You also see this image and information from the inside of James Morrow's umbrella. Kane. This is a member of the cult, known as the Lexicon Authority. They believe that they should be the only wielders of utterances and lexes, as they also believe that their progenitor of the cult was the first to speak any of these words. Void, they have taken a much anachronistic way of allowing their members to use lexes because they are not allowed to speak them, but they can be written and used. You've dealt with them before.
Understood. Upon seeing this man running towards us, I can use that information to speak a lex myself.
Absolutely.
You see Void wave his hand as if he's looking at the source code of reality. And he just says the word firewall.
Okay. And what is your intent with these lexes?
So firewall is a one word altogether. And in this instance, the intent is to literally contain him in a box of firewall, like walls of fire around it.
All right. So you will wager 1 breath for the word. And then up to 6 for what you are going to wager for it.
Okay.
Oh, and this isn't. Yeah.
I'm ready.
No additions or subtractions?
No additions or subtractions.
Alrighty. The world wagered 2.
I wagered 4.
Describe for me how you force reality to your will.
So, as Void's looking at the source code, he can see the man running down the street towards us. And Void inserts a literal wall of fire that jumps and goes above him, in front of him, and then starts to encapsulate all the way around him as he is trapped within this wall of fire. If he attempts to pass through it, he will burn. Close, anything. It is a physical fire for him.
James, you're feeling real sweaty right now. You're feeling really hot. Like everything around you is on fire.
Oh no.
You see the man on the other side of the umbrella frantically looking around the walls of fire. And he's like pulling at the clothing he's wearing that has these stitched papers on them, and he is looking for a word. He is looking for a sentence. He is looking for a phrase of reality will listen to. And he can't find one. Marlo, you are sweating.
Mm-hmm. I have a few things I can do here.
Do you say anything?
Yes.
What do you say?
As he's frantically looking around, as he's frantically moving around in this sphere of flame, if I see him moving in a direction, trying to find an exit out of the flames, when I see him moving in a specific direction, like moving towards one of the walls of flame, as he's moving, as I see him taking steps towards the wall, I'm going to speak the word inertia to hopefully get him to keep moving through the fire.
Okay.
Keep his pace as he moves.
Okay. You must wager 1 for the word inertia. And then up to 6 additional breath. The world is wagered.
Okay. Let me do math in my head. I play games with dice almost every day, and I have to count on my fingers. Okay. I have also wagered.
Would you like to increase or decrease by 1?
I think I am okay with where I'm set.
Okay. The world wagered 1.
I went big time. I went 4. I want him going through these flames. You said he had a glowing page on his leg that seemed to speed him up. I'm increasing that speed with the word inertia to send him through the flames.
Okay. As you do so, from the other side of the umbrella, you witness this man run at an almost unimaginable speed, even faster than he was previously. But those pages, they burned too. Clothing he was wearing, burning. As not only is this man immolated by the firewall created by Void, but the mass amount of oxygen increased around his body, the decrease to the laws of friction to ensure the momentum gained continued. Morrow, for a moment, your entire body feels like a thermonuclear reaction is going on inside of you. Until you don't feel it anymore. And that person's body stops running and turns to a collection of ash on the floor.
Morrow will close the umbrella. Maybe, grab his collar a little bit from the sweat. Look at Hayne and Void and say, a little too hot for my liking. Despite where I live, it doesn't usually get nuclear hot. So I'm glad we got that over with quick. Good job, as he points to Void.
I'm glad to see you didn't actually burn up along with it. Though don't get me wrong. If that means we end this, I will gladly stand back and allow that to happen.
Wonderful. Have you ever thought of show business?
And with that, we'll take a quick break while we get the crew back together. We'll see you all here shortly. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Static Silence, a VOCARIUM Expedition one-shot. Our Vocalists have contended with one very low-level cultist from within the world lore, members of the Lexicon Authority, while traversing the silent streets of Detroit. One member has somewhat of an echo as they are seeing messages along the signs, street signs. The other experienced rapid internal temperature increase over a short period of time until it passed like ash on the wind. You will maintain that point of echo, but you are no longer afflicted by the perception of one another.
Because he ain't exist no more.
Kane, you just watched two vocalists weaponize Lexes in ways you have never seen done before.
This is getting written down in a notebook I have, like a little small notepad.
The safety and security that you find in the sound of your pen or pencil along the paper is non-existent, but you can see the words gliding across each leaf in the notebook. Looking around the cityscape, the three of you see that almost like the movie Inception, where the city would fold on top of itself as they were training the new architect in the movie. You are seeing streets fold over onto themselves, closing the distance between you and the high rise towards the center of the city. And it's like all of the buildings, the alleyways, the cars, the lights, the public mailboxes, and fire hydrants, as they're being folded over onto each other, just cease to be. It's like the streets are just closing in rapidly towards you. But you can see the lines, like grid lines of paper folding over onto itself to shorten the distance. Kane, you've seen this done a handful of times. Not to the massive scale of a city itself, but in theoretical practice with Dr. Keene. Instead of transposing matter from one location to another to teleport, what if you just shorten the distance? Then you don't have to worry about the building blocks of your body being placed in the wrong position. Instead, City Street just never existed before. And you can cover miles in a few moments without risk of spaghettification.
Ew.
This is what was meant.
You all see this too, yes?
It's not just in your head, yeah.
Yep. I'm seeing this. For once,
I'll
it's
take
not my
reality.
work.
Void, you regain 5 breath from someone in chat. The resonant layer returns your breath to you.
Can I go over my maximum?
For the sake of this one shot, sure.
Okay. All right.
What do you do?
I think Morrow's just gonna look at the others and be like, "So, down the yellow brick road."
Is it yellow for you?
It's
Curious.
don't worry about it.
If the whole of this is designed to make transportation easier, then I wonder, how much of it can I affect? I'm going to test a theory. And he'll hold his hand out. Pull.
What is your intention?
My intention is to pull the high rise specifically that we are heading towards us.
So you want to pull the building towards you.
Yes.
Okay. Make your bid. The world will bid as well.
You know, ominously you say that, but you have to.
There's a lot more in this.
So you must spend 1 for the word pull, and you can add up to 6 additional breath on how badly or how much you want to impose your will over reality.
I will bid. Okay, I have my bid.
You have your bid?
Yeah.
Would you like to increase or decrease it by 1?
No.
Okay. The world bids 5.
That is above what I bid.
Okay. As you reach forward, and attempt to command the building itself to pull towards you, towards the gathering of the 3 of you. Need you to mark 2 echo. As first, reality stutters in your vision. You see a version where the building itself, like a rooted tree, is being pulled through moistened soil as asphalt breaks away around it, and it is gliding over the top of a subterranean line towards you. Another reality shows you almost bungeeing your own body directly to the building, standing in front of its open doors, looking up at the floating destruction. And then you see your arm outstretched, and it keeps stretching and keeps going, like your hand itself is being pulled to the building. But your arm doesn't stop at the maximum of its extent. It's almost as if your skin, the elasticity extends and your arm just continues to grow forward. You could feel the pain of your bones elongating, the nerves becoming thinner and thinner between the skin and your muscles, dancing with fire and electricity. Again, like a rubber band pulled too far, and it is fighting to snap all the way back. As you look forward, your hand outstretched, the building unmoved, you unmoved, your arms still tingling like a rubber band with the tension released.
There's some news that I will constrain as good for now. Pulls the hand away. Reality has still some conduit control over this place, which is good. As long as that can hold, there's still a chance that the first plan works.
A flicker, you see yourself dragged through the asphalt towards the core of the earth at an unimaginable speed, as if gravity itself had intensified and your body become intangible, only becoming a force, an existence of the power of pull. And what's stronger than the gravitational pull of the core of the planet you were standing on, before your vision jumps back again?
First time I've experienced that outside of a lab testing. This is fascinating. I'll have to notate that for later.
You feel that these echoes might continue.
Let's start. Okay.
Morrow will twirl his umbrella as he begins to walk. He's just gonna say, in a business where I'm the weird one, it's really interesting that the two of you managed to make me look normal.
You are far from normal. Don't know much about you, though. Not a lot of information in terms of what I was given, though I'm presuming that was purposeful.
Come to a show sometime. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
I don't think I will.
Well, then,
There's
you'll never know
something
me.
there's something to the bastardization of my science into a carnival freak show that kind of irritates me.
Oh, freak show, that just hurts my feelings.
I fail to see how that changes my perception.
Well, what I do, unlike many others, is real.
You're right, it is.
There are many frauds out there. I am not one of them.
What you do is a science in the same way that the study of the hydrogen bomb is a science. Sure, there are some that can turn it into something artful, as I will try to tactfully describe what you do. There are others, looks to Void, who could create massive destruction with what they do. Some purposefully get guided under the right circumstances. Then there were those like Keen, towing that razor's edge between the both. A truly fascinating individual, one that I am hoping we can pull from the brink at some point.
And as the three of you now find yourselves in front of the high-rise, the floating destruction above you, again, The resonant layer shivers. The sound of falling concrete, of shattering glass, of burning, of breaking, the primal decadence of destruction fills all three of your ears. The first true sounds you've heard since walking into the city. It surrounds you. But nothing is falling. Nothing is breaking. Nothing is shattering. Nothing is burning. There isn't electricity sparking and looking for a ground. There isn't water rushing to break through a dam. There isn't crevices in the ground, breakaways from earthquakes. But the sounds of primal destruction fill your ears. Until you hear a woman scream. What was my last word? Each of you feel tears falling from your eyes. The shakiness of desperation and sadness welled in your throat, fighting to say one thing. You can't find the word. You just want to break everything to find this word. And then you're looking at the front doors of the high-rise again. Silence.
The collapse is imminent. We need to hurry.
After you.
And Void will just walk right in.
And I will follow.
And I'm third.
As we move to the next scene, is there anyone looking for any other information? It doesn't have to be a direct question. You can just let me know. My instinct score is X, and I will provide you with information to help you moving into the next scene.
I'm gonna be looking around for any thing that might be helpful. I've got an instinct of 4.
Okay. Void, for you, this collapse is, as Kane said previously, it is dancing on the razor. There may not be a physical or corporeal form that you'll be able to interact with at the top of this building, but the essence and energy that is Dr. Keene is at the top of this building. Something happened, something was said, something was argued, something was presented that led to a catastrophic oration. And for my players, and for those of you in chat, an oration is a battle between two vocalists in which you speak your reality, the other speaks theirs, and whoever wins That is the reality that is experienced. That is what happens. You believe that Dr. Keene engaged in such a powerful oration that ended in a 3-word utterance. But in doing so, harmonically tied herself to the resonant layer. And the final thing. You think you know the word. And it's not a lex. It's not an utterance. You think it was an apology. Only you, Void, are aware of that. Kane, Mr. Morrow,
as we walk in, I have an instinct of 2, and we know words have power. Words, lexes can be spoken. We've seen it in action in the silence. We've heard a little bit of noise from above, the crashing of objects. Whether there's silence or no, Morrow is keeping his ears out for any words being spoken on the wind.
with an instinct of 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear dancing along the silence. Contain. But it doesn't sound like it's being spoken by a vocalist. You assume that it's programmed and coming from those obelisks that were dropped around the city. And the second thing, it's getting louder. And only Morrow knows this. Kane.
Which I think, just real quick, I do think Morrow, that's me, hi, would bring that to light, but very vaguely, in the sense of he would tell the others, we should get this done as fast as possible before we end up trapped here too.
Kane. Is there anything else you would like to glean?
Just looking for signs of Dr. Keene that only I think Kane would probably recognize.
What's your instinct score?
3.
3. Dr. Keene has been, at least over the course of the last few months, trying to find the right words for safe travel between 2 locations. What you witnessed on the streets with them folding over onto each other, as previously said, is something that you saw in theoretical practice that Dr. Keene was doing previously. You can see her vocal signature on the building as a whole. It seems there's as many stories as this may be, the perceived reality within is there's the entrance, there's where she was working, and then there's where she is currently. The building internally has been folded and compressed. So moving from the ground floor to whatever floor she may have been working on from the outside would appear to be 15, 30 stories by elevator or stairs. For you, a single flight of stairs. And then from that point to the top of the building, again, single flight of stairs. She has removed the internal depth. Only what is necessary, only what is needed. But from the outside, this is fully put together somewhere in the 45, 52 story region. But you were seeing her vocal signature everywhere.
It's almost beautiful.
And as the three of you enter, go up the stairs, you find yourself outside of what looks to be a lab of sorts. Collection of binders with languages written on the outside of them, alphabetized, numerical, and in some sort of itemized collection. All of the binders, these, again, pale and drabed blues and grays. But it doesn't look like it was changed to be that. Like, these are just the colors of these binders, of these folders. At the midway point of the space that you're in, you can see a dividing wall. It seems to be made of concrete of some kind, with viewing glass panes across. And on the other side, infinite space.
Looking over what I assume to be the lab, I'm going to make another utterance.
What is that utterance?
Again, you see him wave his hand as if he's pulling the source code of reality. Keylogger.
One word?
One word.
What is the intent?
I gotta take off the mask because I'm getting way too fogged up in there.
Firewall
It's
is in
fine.
effect.
We made it this far.
Yep.
He lives.
So, Keylogger, in this sense, he's going to be essentially replaying the last few minutes of what happened here before the collapse started.
Okay. So you want to observe the last utterance and the situation around the last utterance in this space
Yes,
previously. Okay.
correct.
Bid 1 for Keylogger and up to a maximum of 6. and the world will bid.
Okay.
Have you placed your bid?
I have placed my bid.
Would you like to increase it or decrease it by 1?
No.
The world bid 7.
That is more than what I could bid.
That is the maximum you could have bid.
Okay. I
Yeah.
misunderstood that.
You have to bid 1 for the word,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can
And then
add
an
up to an
additional 6.
additional 6.
Okay. Okay. I misunderstood that. Because I was trying to bid maximum, but I thought it was just 6.
Would you like to bid maximum?
Yes.
Okay. Increase your echo by 1.
All right.
As you pull through the source code, dragging the memory of words spoken in this space, words heard in this space, the last conversation in this space, that infinitum past that separate wall pulls back in on itself, fully restructuring, and you see a full lab, not just medical, not just nuclear, but a lab containing a vast amount of resources for the experimentation and implementation of Lex's through and affecting matter. You see Dr. Mara Keene. She's on the phone. It's a conversation. And there's a glitch, a refraction, a break. To everyone else, seeing you manipulate the resonant layer in this binary and mechanical digital wave, the observation could be seen as something's wrong with the word, or something didn't process correctly. Void, that's not the case. Someone attempted to have Dr. Keene's phone speak a word while she was on it. And she throws the phone away from her. And as she throws the phone away from her, she begins speaking Lex's. And you can hear Lex's coming from the phone as well. But as this oration is happening, Kane, you see Dr. Mara's partner walk into the lab. And a single word coming from the phone almost manifested physically. Die. spoken in an automated digital voice as it collides with Dr. Keen's partner. And you watch as she witnesses a person that she loves and holds above reality die in her arms. And she screams. And as she does, that whole room folds into infinitum. Void, you heard the word that Dr. Keen yelled out. It's such a beautifully simple word. No.
As Void hears Dr. Keen call out, he understands the heartache that she's going through. You then hear Void, Captain, are you still listening on comms?
Haven't left.
You need to find out who's the last person to call Dr. Keen.
If we can find a phone, we can do that. Containment's almost complete. You have 5 minutes.
All right. With that, Void again turns on his heels. Almost glitches, it seems like. And then you see his outer jacket coat almost kind of catch the air and hold the air longer than it should as he proceeds to go up the stairs.
You're going up the final set of stairs.
Yeah.
And the echo that is staying with you at this current time So that's what happens when you say no to reality. That stays with you. Not a drain of capabilities, not a loss of perception on which reality you are in, but just the idea of, so that's what happens. What do Kane and Morrow do? You all saw and witnessed everything that had just occurred, and heard the communications from Captain Benicio.
Would you like to go first?
I'm thinking. Can I?
Yes.
Okay. Can I just examine the room more? Like, okay, there has to be something left behind I can use.
Void, would you leave the replay going? Or would you have ended it?
I think it would have sat paused at that moment right as she's saying no, and it just kind of freezes and it's in a glitch.
So it's before
state.
the fold away.
Yes.
So we're seeing bits of that outer wall look like they're rending into ad infinitum, but the rest of the room is still cohesive, in place, and intact. So you can go into the other half of the lab, as that is the perceived reality of this moment. Though the consequences of that moment will still happen once this is done.
Knowing that he will still step through to look at, like, scour anything quickly before exiting and going up the stairs.
Instinct score is
3.
I can give you 3 small things, or I can give you 1 big thing.
Give me 1 big thing.
You can retrieve the phone, and it will become anchored to your reality once you pass through the doorway out of that half of the lab.
That is what I will do.
Okay. Crossing the space. It is beyond strange to know that this has happened simultaneously, is happening, and will continue to happen at the whim of the man or person you know to be Void. That at any point in time he can just release this tether to reality, this control over reality he has in this moment. He could just let go, and it will go back to being that ad infinitum that it was when you entered. And you cross the room and pick up the phone and step to the doorway. And before you cross, Morrow.
Yes. Things are paused in a moment. That wall splitting the lab is still there.
Yes.
I have an idea that I would love to do. I'm going to walk towards that wall of... Yes, I'm going to walk to the wall.
The separating wall?
Yep. And
Okay.
I am going to speak the word perceive once more towards the wall. However, I'm not using it to focus on my surroundings and see someone. I am speaking the word with the intent to see beyond the illusion of the wall.
Okay. You'll bid 1 for perceive.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, up to an additional 6.
Mm-hmm.
The world will bid.
Okay.
You've placed your bid. Would you like to increase or decrease it by 1?
I feel like one of us should say yes to that, but at this point, I'm okay where I stand.
Technically, Shadow did because
Oh, yeah,
of
that
a
is true.
misunderstanding, but nonetheless, would you like to?
I think we're about to ascend the stairs to the roof. I want as much breath as I can, so I am going to stick with my bid.
Okay. The world bids 1.
I, again, go big or go home. See beyond the beyond. I bid 5.
Okay. Kane, as you pass the threshold of the doorway of that separating wall, you feel everything behind you then move into the unperceived, unquantifiable, endless. Morrow. Have you seen the depictions of the golden ratio? Of the Fibonacci spiral?
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine looking at billions of that in a tunnel, lining every square inch of this tunnel that your eyes can see. And there's also a wall of it in front of you. But you can see through that wall. But behind that wall is another wall of that same ratio, this mathematic, this assigning of angles and trajectories and numbers and variables and communication and frequencies, waves, lines, shapes, figures, eyes, faces, voices, billions, trillions, all at once. All as one, just one, only one, then 2, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 8, then 12, then 37, then 52, and building, self-multiplying, reproducing, recreating, destroying, falling in onto itself, and then recreating itself as you witness absolute nothing. This is what happens when you say no to reality. Nothing happens when you say no to reality. Is this limbo? Could Dante Alighieri have been a vocalist, describing dimensions and realities that he created in order to teach humanity to be better? Is this a place where nothing happens because you choose not to participate in reality? If you choose no reality, then there is nothing. But where there is nothing, there is everything, everywhere, all at once, but not. You now know the single word utterance, no. And the effect, the only effect that comes with it.
I will turn and walk towards the other two, towards the stairway and the door. And when I make it to them, I am simply going to say, in almost a very serious tone, for this man who's usually cocky and just someone going with everything. I'm sure you do not need to be told this, but let's choose our words carefully.
And with that, the three of you find yourself on the top floor, looking out across the laws of gravity manipulated, the laws of motion untied, an ephemeral and ethereal outline of Dr. Mara Keene, arms held forward like they're carrying something. Something that cannot be perceived by the three of you. Until what you assume to be her eyes turn and look. What is everyone's current echo? 2 for Void. 1 for Mr. Morrow. And 2 for Kane. To save the ending for people to play it and experience it. All three of you at this point would double your echo.
Okay.
For one of you, Dr. Keene is saved. That moment fixed. That problem solved. For another one of you, she joins the resonant layer. And in doing so, she speaks. No machine will speak for mankind. And as she joins the resonant layer, that becomes law. And for someone else, Detroit, Michigan never existed. There's always been a crater here, inhospitable. There's tourist attractions around the edge of this crater. Some say it's nuclear, even after the thousands of years since whatever hit this place. And you watch, and you remember a moment where you learned the consequences of saying no to reality. And that is where we will end Static Silence, the digital expedition of VOCARIUM. This quick start, this one-shot, this expedition will be available in December. Coming very, very soon for all of you here. We're going to wrap things up here. All of my wonderful players, amazing, wonderful. Just let them know who you are so we can all get out of here, because I know it is extremely late for all of us. So let them know who you are, where they can find you, and we can wrap up for the evening. And we will start with our signal witch, our source code manipulator, Shadow Dow.
Hi everybody, I've been playing Void, the Signal Witch. My name is Shadow or Shadow Dow. Guide to the Digital Darkness. You can find me pretty much all across the internet as Shadow Dow. I stream on Saturdays and Sundays here on Twitch, and I post mostly on Instagram. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Our frequency breaker, the one and only, James Morrow.
I am Pi or Pi Guy playing the ever lovely hypnotist James Morrow. You can find me on Twitch at Pi's Bakery channel. You can find me on YouTube at Pi's Bakery, and Twitter and Blue Sky and everywhere else as the official Pi.
And our archivist's apprentice, our collaborative partner of Dr. Kane.
Hi, I'm Javante. You can find me on my Twitch at Eclipse613, and you can also find me on Twitter at Javante.
And I have been your curator, Arc or Arclight Court. I am the writer, creator, everything for VOCARIUM. 3 years have gone into creating this project, and I am excited to be able to start releasing things for everyone to be able to play it and enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful time. And remember, your words have power. Good night, everyone.
Go, be psycho.